The number one thing that I needed to make my whole Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta cosplay work was a nice, beautiful wig. And I looked online. I couldn't find any that I liked because they were all hard front, either bright red or just straight maroon. And the style looked really Amazon Party City looking. So I decided, you know what? I'll just make my own wig. I'll make my own wig. How hard can it be? Very hard. Super hard. The hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Usually all of my wigs I have for cosplay are just base wigs that I buy online and I style them myself. This is the first time I've ever made a wig from scratch. And there's this woman on YouTube, God bless her, she guided me through this whole process. Her name I think is Charlene Patrice. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But she has this video that goes into full detail about how to make a lace front wig. And I followed that, almost all of that video to the T. And it really helped. It was super helpful. I'll go ahead and link it below as well. I'll also link below how I made my whole Gogeta costume if you want to watch it. Sign over there. Just went to it, started making my own wig, and I'll tell you how right now. So I got my mannequin head, my bundles of hair, as well as my lace frontal, all in the color Tangerine by ARI Collections, my cap, my needle and thread. Went ahead and pinned my lace onto the cap, and went ahead and sewed it down as well, braided it back so I can add the bundles of hair next. Here I'm adding the bundles of hair on to the cap. I should have put it a little bit closer to the lace, but you live and you learn. And here I went ahead and sewed the bundles on to the cap. I went ahead and kind of sewed them in a little bit of a zigzag motion. And I'm doing this for the first two bundles. And these two bundles, the first ones I have in the wig, are 26 inches. I'm going to go ahead and have different lengths. I went ahead and bought two 14, a 16, and an 18. And I sewed those a different way. I went ahead and sewed those other bundles, the shorter ones, around the head. That way I can go ahead and spike up the hair a little bit later. I don't know why I did this, but whenever I look at my other like spiked the Dragon Ball wigs, the hair is kind of sewn in a round way. Then I went ahead and added the 12-inch bundle on to the rest of the cap that has not had any hair on it yet. I don't know how to talk. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I'm continuing adding that in the circular motion. And here I went ahead and finished the last stitch, cut the thread, and then I went and cut off the excess hair. And then the cap underneath, I went ahead and cut all of that so we can go ahead and have a nice clean lace frontal. That way it looks more natural. Then I went ahead and tried my beautiful little wig on, and this is how my wig looks on, unstyled. We'll get to styling that in just a little bit. And it is a lot of hair. It is 5.5 bundles of hair. But here I am, just feeling my little fantasy. And then my wig flew off. For style, I'm using these two hairsprays, a comb, and some hair cutting scissors, as well as a blow dryer. And how I'm styling this wig after many attempts is I'm taking a section and teasing that, and I'm also going to take some hair that is in front of that section I just teased, as well as behind. I'm going to go ahead and smooth that over, and then spray it down with some hairspray, and go ahead and apply some heat to it with a blow dryer so it can go ahead and stay up. Oh my god, this is working so much better than I was doing it before. The reason I say that is because I have styled and taken this wig down 3 times prior. I had styled it once and I'd taken it down because I didn't like it, styled it again, took it down again, styled it again, took it down again. Until one day, my mom looked at me and she's like, what if you just tease it? And I looked at her, I was like, that's not gonna work with this hair. Like, I know what you mean, I know where you're kind of getting at, but I don't think it's gonna work for this. You know what, Mom? You were right. When you're right, you're right. I'm gonna repeat that same step. I'm gonna do it different levels, so that way not each spike just looks like it's going in the same direction, just so it can has a little bit of, I don't know, just so each spike can be staggered so it can look a bit more natural, or as natural as this gets. I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking to the side a lot because I was watching Danny Phantom. So one of the questions I get asked a lot with cosplay is, number one, how do I fit all my hair into wigs? And number two, how many wigs do I have? Right now I have a total about maybe 20 wigs. Not each wig has a specific cosplay. Some of them are just to have, just to wear for fun. But I love wigs. Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved wigs. There's just something about wigs that really captivated me. I remember looking at people on like pop culture and just like seeing like all these different hairstyles and different colors, and I've always wanted them. But because I had this nice, long, naturally curly, dark brown hair that my parents blessed me with, I wasn't allowed to do any of that. I just had to have natural hair until the first time I did something with it in about 5th grade when I got highlights. But I never really did anything to my hair other than that. And I've always just wanted to have cool hairstyles. And the only way for me to have cool hairstyles was to have a wig. And since then, I just fell in love with wigs. My first wig, I think, actually, was like every girl in like 2008. Was a nice, beautiful, way too shiny, way too plasticky Hannah Montana wig. That was the first wig I've ever had. I don't know where it is now, but that's kind of where my start in wigs began. And the first cosplay wig I think I got, actually no, the first cosplay wig I know I had for sure was a CL Phantom Hive wig. And that kind of jump-started my interest again into wigs. There's just something about wigs that I just really I can't even explain to it. I can't explain it, but this is probably my favorite thing of cosplay. To me, wigs really make or break a cosplay. You can have a nice outfit and it look great, but if your wig is not up to par with the same energy as your outfit, come on. I'm kidding. So at this point with the wig, I've been kind of working on it for, I think I want to say maybe about 45 minutes, which is already taking me so much less time than how I was doing it before. At 45 minutes, I barely had one strand standing up, and here I have like a good third of my wig done. So I'm just continuing doing the same thing. I need a drink. Okay. I know I mentioned some scissors earlier, and I did use those, but I'm cutting the hair as I grab, or as I make each spike, because I had spent a lot of money on this here and I didn't want to cut too short. And that's one of my mom's biggest fears of mine, is because she knows that I like to do things all or nothing, and sometimes that's not the best move. So whenever I make the spikes, I go ahead and cut as needed. I don't really cut much. I just go ahead and get the hair, hold it up to the other spikes, and just cut it a little bit smaller than that, so that way not everything is the same length. And I just keep going at this until pretty much my whole head is done or close to done. as I am finishing towards the end of making all the spikes, all the hair in the back, those two 26-inch bundles that we sewed in earlier, I'm going to go ahead and leave those as is, just so it can have a little bit of that length that Gogeta has as well. Here what I'm doing is taking parts of the frontal and gonna blend that in to the spikes up front. Not doing much here, I'm just gonna trim a little bit of the frontal and just go ahead and blend that in with the spikes, like I said. Here I'm getting started with the bangs. I went ahead and cut the bangs kind of like side bangs. I did this to both sides of the frontal. I was just gonna say front, but then I remembered it was frontal. Sorry about that. So I went ahead and just trimmed both parts of the frontal, like side bangs. Then I went ahead and sectioned each part and went ahead and teased that so I can get a little bit of volume. After I teased the bangs, I went ahead and smoothed it over with a comb. Then I took some hairspray and went ahead and pushed the bangs back a little bit and smoothed out the hairline. Then I went ahead and folded the bangs over, sprayed those as well, blow dried them so they can look nice and neat. And I went ahead and repeated that on the other side of the bangs as well. And before I knew it, I was done. So here is the wig, finally. I tried my best to go ahead and style this as well as I could and try to make it as accurate as I could. And it was quite a journey, let me tell you that. Making it itself was a lot. And here is me trying on the wig. Looks pretty good. I haven't got the lace yet, and I'll cut it later on whenever I put it on. And I hope you enjoyed watching me struggle making this beautiful mess. Bye bye.